Hi, Shikha. Hello. Okay. Welcome everybody. It's just in time, and glad we finally got through all our technical glitches, and here we are. Precisely 1 year since I think we last met when the UNESCO director had come down to Pondicherry, and we were talking about what was our roadmap and what we plan to do. And then we realized how much we already have done. And then we thought it was going to be a very easy job for us Pondicherrians to get ourselves our nominations filed. But somehow it's been a year now, and we realized that it hasn't moved as much as we thought it would. So we decided we needed to meet once again this year during the 7th Heritage Festival to do a kind of a recap to see where we are, what have we prepared, what we've submitted so far, and what next? How long will it take us to get there? For this, we have, of course, our Town and Country Planning Secretary, Mr. Mahesh, who very kindly arranged the meeting for us last year at the Chief Secretariat. He's been immensely helpful. He's also helped us organize the local heritage committee meetings. So thank you for being such a supporter. But it would be really nice if we kind of moved ahead from where we were. So I'm sure, sir, your input will be very useful. And we have two experts on our panel today. Shashwat was there last year as well with us when he had come over for the last meeting. But just in case of you don't know about his background, I'll just read out his introduction briefly. Shashwat Bandyopadhyay is an urban planning professional with advanced qualifications in infrastructure planning and management. His doctoral research work focused on climate change and urban vulnerability in India. He is presently a lead professor in urban infrastructure planning program at the CEPT University. Shashwat has over 23 years of experience in the urban development sector in South Asia with a focus on city development planning and designing of environmental infrastructure. He presently is the coordinator of specialized training program for Indian smart and Amrut cities at CEPT, offering need-based capacity building programs on urban planning, integrated capacity building supports to mission cities. He's also the founder of India's most successful social media platforms, India Urban Forum and the Indian Smart Cities Forum. So welcome, Shashwat. Thank you for coming back again. You've always been a friend of Pondicherry's heritage, so we're really glad to see you again. And the next person is Shikha Jain. Now, Shikha has also been a friend and a supporter from a distance. She has been to one of our earlier heritage festivals when she came personally to Pondicherry, spent time with us. We did a kind of an interactive session at that time with her. And we think we have much to learn from her. So we were very grateful and very happy when she agreed to be on our panel this time as well. Now, Shikha has an extensive portfolio on cultural heritage of India that covers conservation, world heritage, and museum planning of 50+ projects, largely realized through her organization, Drona, D-R-O-N-A-H, Drona. As an international expert on world heritage, she has advised government organizations in Singapore, Malaysia, UAE, Myanmar, and UNESCO offices at Jakarta, Indonesia, and Myanmar. She has worked as consultant to the UNESCO New Delhi and represented Ministry of Culture, India as a heritage expert on the UNESCO World Heritage Committee, along with steering several inscriptions for World Heritage sites in India. She is Vice President of ICOFORT, ICOFORT, ICOMOS, ICOMOS, Advisory Committee Member, MSc, UNESCO C2C at, I'm sorry, Shikha, there are too many abbreviations which I'm not quite familiar with. She's a member advisory committee on World Heritage Matters, ASI, and state convener of INTAC Haryana. I don't think there could be a more qualified person to be on this panel today to tell us, to show us the path, basically. And to answer questions, maybe when, I mean, the basic structure of today's thing will be where Ashok will do a presentation on the work that has been done so far. And then we will have a brief interaction with Shikha and Shashwat to kind of tell us if we are on the right path, what needs to be done, what maybe we need to do better. And then after that, we will open up the floor to questions. I will be monitoring all the questions from here. So you can ask Mr. Mahesh, you can ask questions from the experts, you can ask Intac, and we will all try and see if we have any doubts which we can clarify at this point. And some of us we ourselves might have questions of each other. So we will open it up and then hopefully we'll have a very healthy debate on this. So welcome all of you once again. And Ashok, it's all yours. Take it over from here.
Hello. So good afternoon. Thank you very much, Kakuli, for the wonderful introduction. Am I audible?
Yes.
So as you mentioned rightly, the government of Pondicherry has been very proactive. We are one of the few cities in India who already has a heritage regulation to protect heritage sites and precincts. And the second important aspect is we already have a state level heritage conservation committee, which has been constituted by the local government, which is a statutory body. And we at Intac have been working now for almost 25 years with the local government. And over the years, every single heritage building in Pondicherry has been listed. So as a first step, we had a meeting at the Heritage Committee about a month ago where our secretary also was there, where we had agreed to have a first list of heritage buildings notified. In fact, we also had a small sort of visit with Mr. Kandarselvam, who is there now, the town planner from Town and Country Planning Department, where we actually went around and saw the first list of possible buildings which could be listed. But again, as per the regulation, put it up in public domain for at least 30 days and then get feedback, come back to the Heritage Committee, and finally the government needs to take a call and notify, list them, and make it legally protected heritage buildings. So that is where we stand. Some work has been done. The listing is the most important work which needs to be done now, so that these buildings, at least the first about 100 buildings, are notified after public consultation, and then these are protected by law. But just a quick second point, we have also prepared a draft on the Pondicherry possibility of getting first on the tentative list of UNESCO, which has also been forwarded to the local government for their vetting and approval. So these are the few important steps as we understand with our discussion with Mr. Shashwat when he was there. And I think we are all on board, but due to the pandemic, things got slowed down. And I believe the government is also very much keen to get these things done. So that is where we stand. Just to quickly recap the next few steps that the government support is required is the list of heritage buildings to be approved, the final list to be notified, get public opinion, and then get them listed. Once we do this, I believe we can make our first application with the support of the government of Pondicherry, so that Pondicherry can be on the tentative list of UNESCO. That's what I wanted to say to start with.
Thank you, Ashok. We had already sent some of the background information both to Shashwat and to Shikha about the actual documentation that has been prepared so far and that has been submitted. I'm presuming you've both gone through it. So at this point of time, Shikha, is there anything specific that you'd like to draw attention to that we might have overlooked or we may not be focusing on? And if you think that we need to take any specific action.
Kakuli, I have, just barely looked at the information that was sent. But of course, I mean, I know that you had also prepared a tentative list, and what, Intact Pondicherry has just mentioned, that protection and management, of course, that is one of the critical issue. But the most important aspect for World Heritage nomination is, just establishing the outstanding universal value, which they call OUV. So what I am not able to gather, and this is something, people who are involved in preparing the dossier could probably, or even the tentative list, because you need to first establish whether it has outstanding universal value to be on World Heritage. So if anyone can elaborate on that, because there I found that, I mean, that has to be the strongest point before we even get onto protection and management. We need to know how much of the area, how much of the French quarters, Tamil quarters, what is the argument that you're coming through. So it'll be good if somebody can elaborate on that, and I can comment on, what are the issues there, or what could be strengthened, and how you can go about it.
I think that's a very valid thing. So Ashok, is Intact ready to do that now? Tell us, because I know that you have prepared the outstanding universal value features or the factors and all of that. You have it. Could you explain it instead of don't just read it out from that document? Maybe explain like which area are we looking at? Because we have had long discussions about these things, that which is the area which we want to be a part of the heritage town precinct. So if you could just explain, and why, that's most important, is why. So if you could just explain all that.
Quickly, I'm not going to read the whole document. In fact, I think, Shikha, this document was also sent to you. Maybe you haven't had the time, but I can resend it to you again. The justification for Pondicherry director, and he, after looking at the document, suggested that Pondicherry would qualify. So very quickly, what is the outstanding universal value? Is the boulevard town, which has significant multicultural aspect, and the settlement portrays the way the French and the Tamil town live together. The intangible heritage, such as the language, the religious practices, the cuisine, the games, and the lifestyle. All these aspects are something very, very common to Pondicherry's unique character. In fact, this was also shared with Dr. Shastras when he was there. And I will not go into the whole document. It's very, very long. But the idea is that Pondicherry has something universal in terms of its tangible and intangible heritage, whereas there is a kind of a confluence of many cultures, the French, the Tamil, and today the influence of Auroville, although strictly Auroville is outside Pondicherry, and the Sri Aurobindo Ashram, and then people from all over the country, like many of us, who have made Pondicherry their home. So all this would, we were given to understand, allow Pondicherry to get the first tentative list. As you rightly mentioned, Shikha, justification of outstanding universal value is the crux, and we need to be very clear on that.
Yeah. So can I respond to that?
Yes, please.
So I just want to clarify that the confluence of various architecture, styles or culture is important. But as you will all know, that it exists in a lot of our historic cities in varied forms and contexts, But for something like that to qualify on World Heritage, it has to be unique than any other. So, I mean, it's not just saying that there is, an exchange that happened, but how is that exchange more outstanding than any other, be it other French colonial cities across, the Indian Ocean, in Southeast Asia, or others, some of which are already on World Heritage site, or even within India. So I think that is where the argument needs to be strengthened, because you need to select attributes what qualify your outstanding universal value. which probably is, the main issue here that needs to be strengthened more.
I think that's very valid. Ashok, could you just kind of maybe list out maybe just 3 or 4 points which you think are very unique attributes, very specific to Pondicherry, for which we need to be chosen rather than anyone else?
In the document, we have mentioned very clearly, one is what forms the authenticity of Pondicherry, the form and design. Firstly, the architectural, and also the different communities, like we have the Hindu quarter, the Christian quarter, and the Muslim quarters, and the Grand Canal, which separates the French and the Tamil town. So some of it still exists as it was. Obviously, there's been much more confluence, there's been much more mixing of all different cultures. But this aspect is still relevant to Pondicherry. That's in the material, in the tangible sense. Then obviously in the intangible today, our Heritage Festival is a very good example where it actually showcases all the intangible aspects of Pondicherry. And the use and function of the boulevard town is today not just a colonial capital of Pondicherry, but it also is used for different activities. The commercial side, the residential side, the tourist, the influence of tourism on Pondicherry. And all this makes the small area, which is barely 3 square kilometers, very, very unique. In fact, one of the very important points that I have discussed with many of the tourists who come to Pondicherry, both Indian and people who come from abroad, my question always to them is, what is it? Why are people from Delhi and Mumbai and you name it come to? They always tell me there is something uniquely special about Pondicherry. So I agree with Shikha. We need to probably, work a little more in detail to make our case much more strong. But I think in a way, as an outsider, Shashwat, who has been here a couple of times, maybe he could also share some light on this.
I think thank you, Ashok. Also thanks Pondicherry Intact and other colleagues for inviting. And I was just wondering, it has been 1 year since we last met, and it's 1 year just passed by. Now, in terms of the Pondicherry, we all acknowledge the uniqueness of Pondicherry. We all understand the Pondicherry's claim. But as we discussed in our last presentation, last discussion also, Pondicherry has now that unique advantage of 2 experiences of 2 cities. One is from the experiences from Ahmedabad and also the experiences of Jaipur. And as Shikha mentioned, I think these 2 experiences can be a very unique guiding factor for Pondicherry. And we have gone through the document that you shared with us, and what needs to be done in that we need to thrash this out, and thrashing out some of these outstanding universal values, some of the key points. And we have in Ahmedabad, the dossier was prepared, as you know, by Professor Vasavada, and also for Jaipur, Shikha herself is here today. So experiences of Ahmedabad and Jaipur. And incidentally, at CEPT, we have a Center for Heritage Conservation, which is spearheaded by Professor Jigna Shah. So some of these people who have this experience of, this dossier, drafting or structuring the dossier would be immensely helpful. And all of our support is with you and your colleagues there in Pondicherry. So how you express this uniqueness of Pondicherry in a structured format would be very, very important aspect of this document. So my recommendation would be to actually to see the experiences or guidance from Shikha, also from Professor Vasavada, and also maybe from Jigna Desai, could also help you, structuring this slightly more comprehensible format.
Absolutely right. Mr. Mahesh, may I ask you to step in?
Sorry, Kakoli. In fact, I also wanted to share with everyone here is the tentative document for Pondicherry to be on the tentative list, which we have prepared. We had also sent it to Intact Delhi. As you all know, Intact Delhi has worked on the preparation of the dossier. Although Delhi is still not under the UNESCO Heritage City, it is on the tentative list. In fact, if you go to the UNESCO website, it clearly mentions that Delhi also is on the tentative list. It has got stuck for various other reasons. It has not been nominated under the UNESCO World Heritage City list, but it is already there on the tentative list. So based on the first draft that we had prepared, I had actually sent this document as Mr. Shashwat, our friend, had suggested to Professor Vasavada, and I had also sent to our head office in Delhi, where Mr. Gupta had a look. He had made certain changes. So in fact, the final document that we have now presented to the government, it's still in the draft stage, is after it has been vetted by some of these experts. That's all I wanted to mention.
Yes, thank you, Ashok. From what I gather is that means that the dossier that needs to be prepared has to be absolutely sound. It has to be very solid and substantial with enough, not just like kind of, oh, everybody says we have a unique value. Yes, we know, we love Pondicherry and we know it's special, but it has to have factual details and data along with maybe visuals and all of that put together, because I've seen Shashwat Ahmedabad presentation as well. I think they're fabulously done. So we need to put something together. I haven't yet seen Jaipur, but I'm sure, Shikha, it would be a really lovely document, to even a joy to just see it. So we need to prepare something on those lines. And for that, Mr. Mahesh, sir, we might need to hire a professional, because we ourselves in Pondicherry may not have that kind of expertise and capability to do it. So for which we might need to go out and get the expertise from outside. So would you like to step in and say something at this point, Mr. Mahesh?
Yes, Ms. Kakoli, thank you for inviting me and for taking this initiative on Pondicherry. What does it take to get a UNESCO Heritage City status? And I am pleased to listen to some of your panelists who have flagged some very important issues. Ashok Panda for complimenting us, so I'll pocket his compliments. Shikha Jain talking about the universal outstanding values. And then we have Mr. Shashwat, who has asked us to look into the experiences of Ahmedabad and Jaipur, and there are a few other centers. In fact, you have rightly flagged these issues, but let me tell you that whatever issues you have flagged, we have already discussed, we have debated, and I'm already in the midst of getting these things done. And just because, we lost 1 year, otherwise we had really, we had drawn a very kind of a detailed plan how to go about after the visit of our great friend, Eric Falt, which was, of course, organized with the assistance of Kakuli and Mandin and other friends. And, he did talk about the universal outstanding values. And that is very, very important. And in fact, we had got a professor from IIT as well and another expert, but we could not get Professor Vasavada. We tried to get him. And what I did was, in fact, what happened was, Mr. Eric Falt talked about Ahmedabad. And that was very interesting to know. And Ahmedabad was conferred the Heritage City, the UNESCO Heritage City status. And I was at the Masuri Lal Bahadur Shastri Academy for some training program. And the Ahmedabad Municipal Commissioner, he got this international award conferred. But Eric Falt told me that, look, the foundation of this was laid by Mr. P.K. Ghosh. He's a Gujarat cadre IAS officer, very bright on issues of urban development. And I knew him as VC DDA when I was posted in Delhi. And I immediately contacted Sir, Mr. P.K. Ghosh, that, sir, that you laid the foundation of this Ahmedabad as a UNESCO Heritage City, and look, this is a great work which has been done. And he has been guiding me. So I told Sir, I requested Sir to please come and address us and to guide us. And Mr. P.K. Ghosh, he says, of course, he's ready to come, but because of Corona, he's not able to make it to Puducherry. I am in touch with him, and he will be coming soon, and he would be guiding us. And he did flag the issue of universal outstanding values. That's very, very critical. Okay, so that we are already working on this. And then of course, we are trying to get through Professor Vaswada, through Mr. P.K. Ghosh, who is retired and settled in Ahmedabad, and he has promised me that he will proactively assist us, and he's doing it, and he'll be invited to address us, including other civil servants. Now, just to give you a kind of a brief kind of a status. First, I would like to just give you the legal framework for all the panelists and the other speakers. What is the legal status of this heritage conservation? What we have done till now, and what are the challenges? So let's identify. I'll just do it in bullet points. You know that legal framework in Puducherry, we have the Puducherry Building Bylaws Zoning Regulation, as you have in all other states and UTs. This is of 2012. And we had a State Heritage Conservation Advisory Committee. This was an advisory committee constituted on 26/11/2008. But this was merely advisory. It was persuasive in nature. So we reconstituted this, and we have this 2000 notification of 7/9/2018. That is the heritage regulation. So these regulations were issued under the express provisions of the Puducherry Building Bylaws and Zoning Regulation. So it was given a kind of a legal sanctity, which was very important. This was on 7/9/2018. And the committee, which has been constituted with 14 members, it's very diverse, it's inclusive, and has multiple stakeholders. That's very, very important. Now, what we have done, the second part of my kind of a brief presentation, we had two meetings. One was, of course, this was on 19/8/2019. Then 8 February 2020, we had Eric Falt, who were from UNESCO, and two professors who had joined us. And this was a very kind of an intellectually stimulating kind of a meeting we had. And a lot of issues were flagged. Some important points were raised, like the universal values, the universal outstanding values. And he said, Mr. Eric said that it's going to take long time. It's not that you can do it in a year. So we are aware of this, and how to go about also. The roadmap was laid down. That's very important. Thereafter, what we have done is, after the meeting, we formed a subcommittee, a dedicated subcommittee on Pondi for UNESCO Heritage City, is building an institution. So it will be totally focused on Pondi for UNESCO Heritage City. It is headed by Sridharan, and he is being assisted by Mr. Kandaselvam. They are our very able architects. That's number one. That's very, very important. Now, we had Intact, which is assisting us, and they have submitted a list. They have the list, and which is known. Now, what are the challenges which we are facing? Is just a kind of a, we are doing it just in White Town. Heritage buildings are scattered all over these 4 regions. You find them there also in the non-White Town, right? You have in Karaikal, you have in Yanam, you have it in Mahe. I was in Mahe. I did find some heritage buildings there. Karaikal, there is a girl who has done her PhD, and she's from School of Planning and Architecture, Delhi. She was doing her research. She did her PhD on this heritage buildings in Karaikal. I have yet to get more details from her. I'm going to invite her to address us. So there's a lot to be done, and many heritage buildings. Only we have now a list of 116. That includes government building 38, French building 08, ashram building 61, church building 9. Where are the other private buildings? There are a lot of private buildings which could be included as part of this heritage. So I think we have to work on this. Of course, we have started, and there's a lot to do. Secondly, what are the other issues? Now, you have a heritage building, right? Not formally kind of notified, but these heritage buildings can be sold by the owners, the private owners. Then there would be a partition of the building. That is another problem. Can we have this partition? Then that'll be a big problem for us to continue with the heritage. They would like to demolish and construct a new building. So there is a need to incentivize. So we need to think of incentivizing these private sector people who are the private owners of the building, that look, we can give you some FAR at some place, we can give you this TDR, there could be tax exemptions. So this is the way we got to promote it. That's very, very important. So what are the important milestones we had? Finalizing the draft heritage building. Of course, INTAC is helping us. Then we'll be calling for objections. That is for 30 days as per our heritage rules, which has been notified by the government. We'll be inviting the objections. Then we will be notified by the government. Then filing of nomination. So, but of course, let me tell you one thing, that we have to work on the clear-cut universal outstanding values. That's very, 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 very important. And for this, I'm in touch with Mr. P.K. Ghosh, who laid the foundation for Ahmedabad as a heritage city. He's the person who worked on this. And of course, he was ably assisted and supported by Vaswada. So thank you, Kakoli, for bringing me in for this discussion on a very useful subject, which is very much related to the town and country planning. And we are fully committed to make Puducherry a UNESCO heritage city for all the benefits which would bring in to the economy, to the culture, and to the intergenerational equity issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mahesh. Really appreciate. I think you've opened up a lot of topics for discussion now. And yes, we are extremely grateful to you for doing all the work that has been done so far. I think at this point, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but we've had this discussion that the heritage city precinct needs to be a contained area, a small manageable area. Now, the reason why we keep talking about the French precinct, we don't like calling it the White Town because it's a bit racist in terms of being called a White Town. So we call it the French precinct. So we have decided, we had, as far as I know, I'm not part of INTAC, but from whatever discussions I've been part of, I thought we had decided it was going to be focused on the French precinct because, one, it is manageable. Two, there are more number of restored heritage buildings in that area. I'm sure Ashok can give us more reasons of why that is the area. Now, the reason why we have not gone into the Tamil town area, although there are some beautiful old Tamil houses, it's just that there's been a lot of commercialization that is going on, and to be able to manage that is going to be, of course, much more difficult because of obvious reasons, obviously. So I don't know if, Ashok, would you like to throw more light on this, on the heritage precinct that we are focusing on?
We actually have a total list of close to 500 heritage buildings, both in the French and the Tamil town. As you rightly mentioned, we need to focus in a particular area. But in fact, even in our focus, what we have suggested is take the whole French town and take a few streets in the Tamil town, because we don't want the Tamil town to be totally neglected. There are beautiful heritage buildings in the Tamil part also, which have been listed by us. So as I said, close to 500 heritage buildings in the boulevard town, which is the Tamil and the French town. What we have proposed, as our secretary suggested, is the first list, which could be notified to start with, approximately 100 buildings, which we have visited with Mr. Kandar Selvam. But we definitely want the Tamil part to be included in the heritage precinct in our application to UNESCO, because that also gives us confidence and also the universal value. You know, that is what is interesting to Pondicherry. It's not just the French town. It is the French and the Tamil precinct. The difference in the architecture, but also how both have evolved in different ways. So it's very important to have a couple of streets. We have demarcated a couple of streets, but obviously, on the question of universal value, some amount of vetting has been done by Mr. Divay Gupta at Intact Delhi. Based on his recommendations, we have reworked. Still a long way to go.
Right. So at this point, can I ask Shikha or Shashwat if you could throw some light on this? I mean, both of you might be familiar with the Pondicherry plan. I wish we could show you a map right now. If you have it, Ashok, maybe you can bring it up, a town plan of Pondicherry. Because the moment we talk about some Tamil streets, then we are going out of the area which is east of the canal. We are going into a certain portion of the area which is west of the canal, only a certain part of it. Now, when you apply to get a heritage town nomination or a tag, then how difficult or easy will it be to get it if it is kind of a certain area which encompasses both parts of town? Would any of you be able to tell us if that is feasible?
Shall I?
Yeah, please, Shikha.
Okay, so I mean, I've been hearing
Digitally.
I just wanted to sort of give,
Not here.
thank you, Ashok. I remember the plan very well, and it's, was a beautiful experience to be in Pondicherry. And, like a lot of people who travel to Pondicherry and say, why isn't it on World Heritage? It's so unique. Of course, that is the strength of Pondicherry. I've been hearing about, management. I've experienced it in the city itself. And let me tell you, compared to Ahmedabad and Jaipur, Pondicherry is in a much better shape in terms of management, in terms of the protection or the whole experience. Because Ahmedabad and Jaipur are really challenging cities, the complex matrix that it has. And that's why management issues were raised, several. So in that sense, I would see Pondicherry is a strong case. But what I'm trying to say, pinpoint is that what are you going to manage? In World Heritage, what do you manage? You manage the outstanding universal value. And I'm still not clear about that. Saying that, this part is managed well, so we take it into World Heritage area and this part is not managed, that World Heritage Committee will not accept, or neither ICOMOS will accept. If it has outstanding universal value and attributes, whichever area, whichever sector it is, it's part of the Pondicherry narrative for World Heritage and has to be in the property area. If it's not managed well, that is a reflection on us, that we haven't managed it well. But as per World Heritage, it has outstanding value, so it needs to be in there. So we first need to define the attributes for outstanding universal value. And then as, Secretary Town Planning has said, why is this not area, why is this heritage component not there, or why why it should be there. There has to be a scientific selection system, to sift out why is it not there, because the attribute for World Heritage that you've defined, I mean, for the outstanding value or the criteria is missing. So that's the step I find is completely missing, that we are not clear on what are the attributes. And, we are randomly selecting based on history or, the cultural exchange. So that process is the key. And only when you have the attributes right, then you can say these are the attributes we are managing and this is our property area. So you're sure about that. And that is the most important aspect. So in case, I mean, leave aside Delhi and leave aside Ahmedabad and Jaipur. If you want to follow a process in terms of selection, I think Intact Delhi, which is the Intact Delhi chapter, not the headquarters I'm talking about, but the Delhi chapter followed that process. The reason Delhi didn't make it through was Indian government withdrew the proposal, but otherwise it was very sound. And the process they followed was they had key experts through several workshops who defined these attributes. And they came up with a very, important, like outstanding universal value and attributes, which even ICOMOS appreciated till whatever stage it had reached. So if you want to follow certain process, I think that is one process you could follow. Of course, Intact Pondicherry should be, holding the whole dossier through and being local. That's what, a local person needs to. But you need all these experts in phenomenology and attribute selection to be sort of, brainstormed through a system and defined with clarity, so that any, like in one statement, you can say this is the universal value and how it will come through.
I think somebody's microphone is on. We
Yeah.
just
And one other point, I don't want to take too much. One other point I would like to suggest to Pondicherry is, because this has a very strong transnational potential also, being part of a trade route of the French colonies. And we've already had a transnational nomination for Chandigarh, where, it was 7 different countries. And India already has, defined under Project Mosam, these transnational nominations. So I would say, you work on your World Heritage. Take the example of Jaipur. We did World Heritage City, but before that, it was UNESCO Creative City of Crafts and Folk Arts. So first we went in for that nomination. So you have possibilities of even Pondicherry as a creative city. And this is a feedback I got, from somebody who was in the Paris ambassador's office. So, you have, Pondicherry has the potential for being a UNESCO creative city. World Heritage, first you need to outline the OUV, whether it should go as single or as a transnational. If you can establish its OUV on its own, then of course, definitely it should go through. But the process is very important and one needs to do that.
yeah. And
I think
thank you,
Kakuli, I just wanted to share, I think I would agree with Sikha's points.
Mhm.
But furthermore, I think Pondicherry, since we have been discussing and lot of, motivated efforts being also put forth towards this direction, I think defining these outstanding heritage values and what is unique. And also, if you remember, there was this World Bank initiative of inclusive heritage-based city development, but basically looking at city-wide approach for understanding heritage. I think it would be good if INTAC and the town planning department start a series of,
workshop.
brainstorming sessions, inviting experts, their perspectives together. Probably this note, I think it's a one credit. I think we should all compliment INTAC Pondicherry is to come up with the first note, because you have a base note now, which needs to be refined a little further. We can all strengthen it further with experts like Shikha, with experts like Professor Basavara, and other inputs can come in. But I think the process, if we set rolling, I think you will be able to see in next couple of months or next few months, you'd be able to see certain, step towards the right direction. So I would urge the government of Pondicherry as well as INTAC to actually INTAC Pondicherry to start thinking in this direction, setting a process of defining outstanding universal values, having a city-wide strategy. And I know the enormous work already Ashok and team has done. The kind of work and kind of documentation already exists. So it would be much easier process for Pondicherry than I would guess any other places in India. So what do you, Kakuli?
Thank you. Thank you. That was very, very useful. And I think I completely agree that we need to have a few more series of workshops with experts. And I think nowadays with being able to do it online is also very useful. So we don't really have to travel across and do it, but we should be doing more and just focusing on that, focusing only on the attributes of what is the outstanding value.
Kakuli,
Absolutely.
just one point. We are seized of this matter, and as I said, I wanted Mr. P.K. Ghosh, to come to Puducherry, and I want to take him around this town to give him a feel, and he is going to assist us, help us, and guide us. So on this UOV, he's going to work on. He will be guiding me on this. In fact, this is the foundation on which we have to build up the whole thing. So we are going to have a discussion. We'll invite all of you on behalf of the government, and we'll have a brainstorming session, which is already due. I've already said that Mr. Ghosh would be coming. We would be trying to get Professor Vaswada. I know Mr. P.K. Ghosh will be there. Vaswada, he's old, he's a bit sick, not doing well. So he will be talking to him, and we'll have a brainstorming session. Certainly, we are absolutely we could not organize this because of COVID, we could not move on. So this is there. The other part on which we are working is how to incentivize the private citizens to preserve their heritage buildings through tax concessions, through TDR, right? And better FAR coverage. So these are two important issues for us, and we are working on this, and we have already established a subcommittee, as I said, Pondi for UNESCO Heritage Cities. It's a dedicated cell which we have created post-conference in February 2020, headed by Sridharan and my other colleagues from the Town and Country Planning Department. Here I would like to tell Mr. Ashok, I would like that whatever documents you send to Delhi, don't send it, please show it to us, please consult us, and we will look into it, and then we will work together. That's very important. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. In fact, whatever we have sent to Delhi has first been sent to your department, like the list of heritage buildings, first list, and even this tentative document, copy has been given first to you. Once you have, your department people have vetted, only then we sent it to Intact Delhi for their views. As you rightly mentioned, we have to go through your department because this is an official process. Thank you very much, sir.
Just one point, Kakuli, regarding what Mr. Mahesh just mentioned about the TDR. Also, Ahmedabad has this that heritage TDR policy. That experience can also be shared.
Yes.
So we can also bring that aspect, and I will also request Mr. P.K. Ghosh, although I understand Mr. Ghosh is also not in very good health these days, but we will share that heritage TDR policy also, and some experience is already there in Ahmedabad, although very limited scale, but it is worthwhile to refer back.
Yes, that's very important, because I think I just saw a question from Sunaina. Sunaina, are you there online? I have unmuted you. You had a question and you wanted Shikha and Shashwat to share some experiences specific. I can't see your question now, but I know you did ask a question. Are you there?
Yes,
Nini?
my question was that for our own better understanding, if both Shikha and Shashwat can just list out a few of the points that that qualified as outstanding universal value for both Jaipur and Ahmedabad. I think it will give us a better understanding of what we are looking for and what we should look forward to in trying to identify these points.
Shikha, shall we start with you? If you can give us some.
Yeah, sure. I mean, for Jaipur, I can tell you its town planning, of course, is anyway quite world renowned. The 18th century town planning of Jai Singh in a 9 square grid. So definitely planning was one important attribute. And that is what criteria 4, talks about planning. So the town planning covers the gates, the city wall, and all the square grid, the main roads, the choppers, the big squares. So these are the attributes that one needs to, say, okay, this is unique town planning. These are the attributes, they are still intact, and that's how it qualifies. And secondly, it was the architectural exchange and the architectural ideas also. So, important monuments like you have Hawa Mahal and Jantar Mantar and, the complete bazaars, the urban character of Jaipur, which are reflective of the mixed Rajput, Mughal, British planning at various times from 18th century to early 20th century, So that was another component. That's criteria 2, which Pondicherry is also taking, but they need to qualify it. That's why I said that what are the attributes and how do you qualify it? So that process needs to be in place. And lastly, we had, the intangible value of Jaipur being a crafts city. So it's the crafts community. It had 36 karkhanas, the 36 small-scale industries which Savai Jai Singh planned initially, and some of them are still surviving today. So the criteria 6, intangible, was another point for Jaipur that qualified it.
Thank you. I mean, it makes it definitely helps us because, I mean, if we come down to think about it, I think even our Pondicherry's town planning is also very unique and specific. But again, you're right. We need to be able to express it in that way that what is special about it.
Yeah,
So-
and I mean, for what point I haven't mentioned yet, but that's the most important is the comparative analysis, because there may be other town plans also, other French town plans, better, worse, bigger, smaller. And for this purpose, I would say look into the nomination manual, which is up on the UNESCO website. And, you know, in their example, they talk about Liverpool as a model case for outstanding value definition, you know, outstanding universal value. So that shows how amongst the various British colonial towns, why is Liverpool unique? And that would be a good example for you for French colonial towns. How is Pondicherry, you know, a unique one?
Yeah. Right. Thank you. Shashwat, would you?
No, I would like to just mention that for this understanding OEVs would be difficult in terms of a kind of a webinar like this. So we in the dossier would everybody, all the intended cities would write down, and there are certain UNESCO has this 10-point criteria. There are cultural criteria, natural criteria. So it would be better for Pondicherry to have a separate, you know, small group discussion only on the understanding of the outstanding universal values. And there that already the experiences that we have from Ahmedabad, Jaipur, and other cities, comparative analysis cities, I think that discussion would, you know, able to deep dive. We can always list down these criteria and what is so unique about the architecture confluence. But for to understand and internalize, it would I would recommend that you have a separate discussion on this, where you know that we have multiple stages of discussion where such discussion can be taken forward, and that would be helpful for you, all of you, to contribute and understand these specific criteria. Also, I think some of you can also go to the UNESCO list website. Also, had certain criteria are put forth, but it would be much more helpful if you have this discussion roundtable on outstanding universal value. I think that would be very, very useful.
Right. I think I get the picture. If I can, I mean, is there any other questions from anyone? Anybody would like to say something? Or anybody has anything to add to this? I can see a lot of very appreciative remarks saying that this is great that Pondicherry is doing this and we are trying, and that Shikha's points are totally spot on. So very appreciative remarks that I see, but I don't see any questions yet. So I'm presuming nobody has any specific questions. Let me just sum it up as I understand now that as Mr. Mahesh said, that we will have a series of workshops as recommended as well. So which is a very good forward thinking, as like we need to plan how to go about it. We need to study a bit more, all of us, even though like we are citizens of Pondicherry who are interested in making Pondicherry a better place. But we need to do some studies ourselves, educate ourselves by going into the UNESCO site, reading the nomination manuals and figuring out exactly what are we asking for and are we qualified? Are we really there yet? So we need to prepare ourselves a bit more. I'm sure all of us have taken away a lot from this discussion that we've had so far. And thank you so much once again, Shikha and Shashwat. And Mr. Mahesh, sir, thank you for all your support. I hope you don't get transferred too soon, because then we'll have to start all over again and get the ball rolling all over again.
May I just suggest one thing that in
Yes,
Hyderabad, I'm Veda Kumar from Hyderabad, and I'm the governing council member of INTAC. In 2010, we worked out a number of incentives. We have studied Bombay and as well as Calcutta model. Then we have that list of all the incentives which can be encouraged to all the building owners, whether it's a private or semi-private. So that I will send across to your one of the committee. If you can just text me your email ID so that I try to pass on what all we recommended to the government then.
Thank you.
I'll do that. Thank you so much. Mr. Mahesh, would you like to say something to wrap this up?
No, thank you very much for this great initiative, Kakuli. And as I said, that we'll proactively pursue it, since the number of COVID cases are going down and we are in much better position to take it forward. And I'm eagerly waiting for the visit of Mr. P.K. Ghosh, and we are seeking his guidance, and then we'll really take off. So no worries, we are all there to support you, with you, for you always, with the Pondians.
Very good. I had just one thing to say. Mahesh, it's really good because you have set the course straight as to what through the government would be the next steps and how you would involve all of us. Shashwat has also come out with a very good suggestion, important suggestion of doing a brainstorming within ourselves with some expert help from here and there to try and identify the points that he and Shikha have mentioned as the outstanding universal values. Shikha, we would like to hear from you. What is your advice and suggestion to us going forward, please?
But I thought I had already mentioned, what Shashwat has said, and I had already explained how INTAC Delhi also had gone through the process. And that's what internationally is also followed, like in Myanmar and other places where we are doing the dossiers. In fact, they have a pool of international experts. And Delhi also, invited some international experts, which, like Kakoli said, it's easy to do it now with the Zoom. So you should have like some focus workshops, just defining the World Heritage Area, the outstanding universal value and the criteria. So it can be built into a series of 3 workshops, looking at the attributes, outstanding universal value, property area, and the buffer zone. And then, of course, most of the protection mechanisms are in place. And then, Mr. Mahesh has already suggested that, they are quite proactive in pulling in other things and incentives and all. So once you have these areas defined, it can really be, the management system can be created specifically for this proposed World Heritage Area.
So Shikha, I just want, can you respond to me on one issue? Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sure. Yeah.
So is there any minimum number of buildings you need or an area to get a city declared as a UNESCO heritage city? Is there do you go by number of buildings?
No, not at all, sir. Not at all. It's not the number of buildings or the area, it is entirely the outstanding universal value or the narrative. If we say this building is critical to part of the, to the significance of Pondicherry, then it has to be included irrespective of wherever it is. And it has happened with us, like with India also, cases where we did not include an important, like in the Hill Forts nomination, there were 6 hill forts that we were proposing, and Jaisalmer was not included because Indian government felt that management is not good. But we could not clear it. It extended for 1 year, and we had to finally put in Jaisalmer because it had the outstanding universal value. So when we are defining that area for Pondicherry, we need to ensure that we have not missed out a single building that adds to the OUV, or not taken anything extra which does not add to the OUV. So that property area has to be so defined and within that outstanding universal value.
So the second point is, are these buildings got to be contiguous?
Yes.
Preferably
each other, or one is
not necessarily contiguous. I mean, it's
okay.
good if you have one area to manage, but like in case of Delhi or any other, you also had 2 pieces, like you had Shahjahanabad and the new, the Lutyens Delhi at that time. But there are other cases across the world where it could be in 3-4 areas, but then it goes into a serial nomination. So you have to, define each of the component of that property.
Like Ahmedabad, it was just the walled city, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
One unit.
Yeah, they were just the
Yeah.
walled city. So it's good for us if it is contiguous. And I would say for Pondicherry, it will be easy for it to be contiguous because it was planned like that.
Okay, thank you.
However, Pondicherry also has a very interesting confluence of Bahur area, which dates back to the Chola period, and its system tanks, which are very unique, leave aside the Chola temples, and coming to this modern, 17th, 18th century planned city of the boulevard town. So we also had considered at one point when Eric was here discussing the possibility of including Bahur and the Boulevard town, but I don't know where that's gone.
So again, I mean, just to clarify, every city has so many layers, but for World Heritage, you have to select the most unique one. And it could also be possible that the same area is inscribed twice in another criteria. Like in case of Jaipur, Jantar Mantar inside the city is an independent World Heritage site. But it again got re-inscribed as part of the Jaipur city. And in case of Delhi, there were 7 cities and they had a rigorous, brainstorming to finally sift it down to 2 of the last cities, Shahjahanabad and Lutyens Delhi. So in case of Pondicherry, the same issue, what you have most extant and visible is the French and Tamil layer.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, everyone. I have unmuted everyone. We have quite a few participants and I've unmuted everybody. In case anybody wants to speak up at this point or has a question to ask, please go ahead, unmute yourself and you can ask. Otherwise, we could.
Kohli, can you hear me?
Yes, Naveen. Hi, Naveen Piplani is here, guys. I can't see you, but I can hear you, Naveen. How are you?
Yes, all good. I just wanted to compliment, firstly, all of you. I have been following this, not even now, from previously as well. And I do support all the arguments that are being placed, particularly by Dr. Shikha Jain, who carries a whole lot of experience and guidance on this. Equally, our Intact Pondicherry chapter, who's working on it hands-on, on the ground. And I think it will be really a dream come true to see Pondicherry on the World Heritage List. So all my compliments, all my congratulations, and all my best wishes. And anytime any kind of assistance or support is required to push Pondicherry a step further, we offer all that support and expertise to the team. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Naveen. All of you. I mean, I think we've been very fortunate that even after we lost Ajit, we've been very fortunate that we have such great friends who are doing such fabulous work in the world of conservation. So,
Sorry, excuse me.
Yes,
I just wanted a few words from our colleague in town planning, Mr. Kandar Selvam, who has been patiently listening all this while. He has also been a very important part of our team in the government. Maybe he has a few words to say.
Yes,
Mr. Kandar Selvam.
Of course. Mr. Kandar Selvam, are you there? Yes. Yes, sir.
He has to unmute his mic. Mr. Kandar Selvam, can you unmute your mic?
Can someone call him or message him because he has to unmute it himself?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, we can.
Yes. Actually, the Town and Country Planning Department and the planning authorities, we have been working with the Intact for the last 2 decades in conserving these heritage buildings. And actually, before the regulation also, before bringing the heritage regulation, actually we used to issue building plan approval after consultation with the Intact. So we will be able to preserve and conserve many buildings in the boulevard area. And with the help of the regulation, now we can strictly enforce this regulation and we can able to conserve the building. And this outstanding universal value we have to very specifically define, and then we have to work on it, and so that we can able to nominate ourselves for the UNESCO. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yes. Actually, recently, Sunana and I had been asked by ICOMOS to do a presentation on Pondicherry. And it was while we were preparing the presentation, we realized that, heritage has become a kind of a buzzword in Pondicherry already. the stakeholders are on their own wanting to have a facade which is a regulated facade, because they know that that is what is creating a value to the area, the precinct. So this is something which is now happening organically, and I think you won't need a lot of convincing to convince people that the facade at least needs to be managed. So in that respect, I think Pondicherry is a good success story so far. So thank you so much for your support, sir, in this matter. It's been very, very good for Pondicherry.
I would like to add congratulations to all of you. I'm Sumit Kaur from Chandigarh, and we've gone through this process. It's a very exciting journey that you have picked up. You need to dwell into the history, get the OUV out, do a lot of research on that, because I think that is the strength, like Shikha ma'am has said. So you pick on that and really work hard on that. And after that, I think there is no stopping you. Once you are clear on what your strength is, you can always project that strength and bring about more awareness. And like you said, it's already triggered off. The more you talk about it, the more you rope people in through some samvads and having people dialogue. When the citizens start participating, the whole thing, happens. So then when you make your management plan, and you have to have a management plan, part and parcel of the dossier. So in that, you have to bring out what are the challenges that the city is going to face. And as we see, urbanization is on the increase. So I think at this juncture that you are doing it, it's commendable. This is the time to, actually look at what we have, our resource, and then give it direction. And this nomination will really give back to the city in more ways than we can even think of. Same is the case with Chandigarh. We had barbed wires around the Capitol complex, and we were told these are security issues, nobody is going to remove them. But once we took on, things started falling in place. So I think, go ahead, and we are here. I'm also there to help you anytime you want. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. We need all the help and guidance that we can get. And like I said, I think we are very fortunate. We have such wonderful group of people in the country who are there, and we can draw on the whole intellectual resource that we have as far as conservation is concerned and build on it. So
maybe Sumit could leave her phone number and
yes,
ID.
That's right. I have some number and address here, but yes, ma'am, could you just leave your number on the chat box?
I'll give my details. Right,
yes.
Definitely.
Yes. Right. Anyone else? I can see Virginia there somewhere.
I just wanted to add how very good it is to participate. Sorry, I arrived late. I will do anything I can. I am living 40 kilometers away from where Duplex left to go to Pondicherry. So anything I can do in France, because I speak French as well, just call on me. I can be a resource as well.
And all that. The thing is, because I will not make it in time before they close.
Right. I think
and they're not open tomorrow. Also, I have to make one more order. I'll try and make the order over the telephone with her, but otherwise, if you...
I don't know who it is because everybody's microphones are on at this stage. Anybody else? Anything?
Okay.
Any
Thank
input?
you. Yeah, I'm on the...
All right, so we will wrap it up today. Thank you very much. And we will, whenever we have our workshop and brainstorming sessions, we will record them and put them online so that it becomes a kind of a resource for everybody. I mean, it's for other people as well, as far as for us. And what I am taking away from this today is I need to study. I need to do my research as well. So we are on it. And thank you everyone for being here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kakuli. Thank you. Ashok.
Thank you, Shikha.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good. Shashwat, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
nice meeting you.